Hello. Hi Mika. Hi Lisa. How are we doing, guys? Are we having fun yet? I have an appointment that I have to get sharpish off to at 5 o'clock, so I've set my alarm for 4:45. So when my alarm goes off at 4:45 and I'm like, where's that going off? What's that about? What did I set that for? What's going on? What is that strange ringing noise? Please remind me that I have to wrap up at that point. Oh, I'm a bit thin on the ground today. Oh, I suppose a lot of people are back at school this week, aren't they? My eczema, it's killing me. Put my sleeves down. It's not very nice, is it? Hey Jen, how you doing, guys? Oh, so I'm just giving it a minute so people have got time to get here and everything, because I never know when YouTube notifications go out. I should probably post on Instagram, shouldn't I? That would help. Since I always say, well, I always post on Instagram. Should probably do that, right? Here we go. Everybody smile. There we go. I don't have enough followers to add a link. It's so annoying. Discord worked today. Excellent. Yeah, Katie's been messing around with it to try and get both of them working. It seems to not like having 3 different channels to work with. So, when the alarm goes off, I've got to wrap up. Can't just be sitting here chatting. I've got to wrap up because I have to get going. And given that it takes me 15 minutes just to get out the door without the dogs. Right. I'm just in a mood to play today. I'm not going to get my chameleons out and start playing with that, because if I start messing with that, I could be here for hours. And I like that, but, you know, we've done that for the last 2 weeks. I kind of want to do something different. So, yesterday in class we were talking about September being kind of fresh start month for a lot of us, because it's all, especially us introverts who are used to the academic year, it's all back to school and doing this, doing that. And so I started a new journal, as you do. I'm trying to get back into my habit of journaling and always having a pen in my hand. I've noticed during the lockdown and COVID and everything, I've been really, really lax in actually doing anything. And it shows that I'm really out of practice. So now the weather's gone a bit naff again, and I'm not sitting out in the garden in the evenings because, it's raining. I'm tending to be sitting watching, my current favourite love. I'm such a nerd for history. For those of you who don't know, I actually did archaeology as an option at GCSE. I know, right? But it was awesome. We learnt all about flint knapping, and we spent a week in a Saxon village and all sorts of stuff. It was amazing. But I'm really into ancient history as well, because I did a classical law degree, a classical history degree. And I don't know, there's something about megastructures, like looking at buildings where they're talking about bricks in terms of tons and moving them hundreds of miles in some cases. And I'm like, how? Explain. How is this built? How is it still standing? Oh, I'm all up in it. So, blowing up history. Oh my God. I didn't watch it initially because from the title it sounds like it's like most history programs are all war and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not into that. I don't care. But this is actually all about, when they say blowing up, they literally mean doing it like an architect, where you blow out a building and you have all the layers. And they've done everything from like the Mayan temples and the pyramids and all that kind of stuff, all the way through to the Statue of Liberty I was watching last night, and then how they built the Colossus of Rhodes and why it fell over, and how Statue of Liberty is still standing, and how they worked out who the face of the Statue of Liberty was. It's amazing. It is such a cool program. If you're a nerd, you got to go watch it. Blowing Up History. If you're in the UK, it's on Now TV's entertainment channel. So if you go over there, you can find out which Sky channel it's on. I can't remember offhand because I don't have a TV. I do everything on the internet. I think it's on Discovery, or no, it's not on Netflix as far as I know. I mean, it's probably around other places, but I use Now TV and Amazon Prime, and it's on Now TV. I think it's a Sky program, and they've got a lot of those. So, yeah, I'm so geeking out over it. There's probably a few on YouTube. You can probably watch it on YouTube somewhere. But they're so knowledgeable, and it's so interesting finding out all these different things about things that you thought you already knew about. And then you realise that actually it's been 10, 15 years since you last looked at it, and they've made discoveries since then. Oh, it's fabulous. So that's my new geek out. And then, of course, it was the 1st of September, so I had to watch my favourite September film. September, or fall, in this house starts when you watch You've Got Mail. There's something about that film, it's a September film. I think because he talks about New York in the fall. Don't you just love New York in the fall? If I knew where you lived, I'd send you bouquets of sharpened pencils. Oh. Hi Sylvia, Amber, Nikki. Yeah, so this is my new sketchbook. This is an Indigo from Artway, the same people who did the fairly big stupid sketchbook. So Artway Studio. I used to always use Art Alternatives or C Whites. C Whites I still do use because I like a particular size of one of their books. This one, which we worked out is actually a B5. I love this size and I use it for my urban sketching. They do one landscape and they do this portrait one. I love these books. They're just a really comfortable size to sketching. But I also like smaller books, and, you know, I just wanted to play with something different, like something completely different. September is always my let's do something completely different month. So here it is. It's a landscape A5. So it opens this way. Oh, she says, oh, let me move the camera across so I don't have to keep shifting things. Hang on. Where's my camera angle? Okay, so if I move it, yeah, I move it. Is that the right way? Nope. There we go. That's better. It's still a bit. There we go. Next month is all about Edgar Allan Poe, but I wanted to do weird, creepy stuff. So I've gone with an Alice in Wonderland theme this month because Alice in Wonderland is weird and creepy. I've got the Sticky Bow sticker set from Alice in Wonderland, and why not? It will go well with my Edgar Allan Poe theme. So what I've set up so far, those of you in class have already seen just this little bit, but I'll just run through it again. You know, on the front and back of every book you have this useless page where it's stuck together, right? Well, what I did was I took the top half of this page off and cut it along, you know, where it's joined. And then I washi taped it along the bottom and along the sides, which makes a pocket. And then I took the bit I'd cut off and I turned it round and washi taped it to the top. So now, when I close my book, things don't fall out of the pocket. I didn't have to add anything to the book except a little bit of washi tape. That's it. So instead of having to add an envelope, which would add bulk, I've been able to just turn that useless page into a little place where I can keep my... I've got my Alice in Wonderland stickers in here and things. So that's kind of cool. And then I've just started using it. This is my... Every month I provide a calendar for my students for Patreon, for my When Frogs Sing class. So this is the calendar. I'm using the playing card stickers. These are kind of minorly puffy playing card stickers, and those are days off. I've got a couple more to put in here somewhere, and of course I don't work Sundays, so that column is always days off. But I've got another one or two to put in here somewhere. And then this is Patreon stuff. This is the stuff that's going for the whole month. And then this is, I just did a simple for the week appointments thing. Just for my timed appointments and classes. I mean, I know when things are anyway, but I do like to put, especially now I've started going out and about again, I like to be able to visualise. So like straight away I can look at this and go, I've got nothing on Friday. If I want to go out somewhere and sketch, Friday's the day to do it. Or if I want to add in a stream this week, Friday's the day to do it, you know, anything like that. And then Sunday is really tiny because I never do anything on a Sunday. The most I ever do on a Sunday is have an Amazon delivery or something. So I just split this page. This is from our every month with the astrology that we do. I do an oracle reading and a tarot reading. This was the oracle reading for the Pisces full moon, which is today, tonight, about now-ish. And the overall theme of, you know, how do we, because Pisces full moons are very intense and overwhelming, and it can feel like you're taking on a lot. The question was, how are we going to get through, on top of everything else we're dealing with, a full moon in Pisces as well? And the oracle card said, you can't please everyone, just be you. You do you. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Just, you know, you do you, and some people won't like it, but others will. Basically, don't sweat it. Just do. This is just my bullet journal, essentially. I'm not going for any specific layout or anything like that. I'm not setting up pages in advance or anything. I'm basically thinking that I'm going to use this as a journal / sketchbook, and where I have gaps, like if I use up all this space today, then I'll start Thursday on another page. If I only ever end up writing that today, I'll write Thursday underneath and I'll write Thursday there. You know, I'm not worried about where I put things. As always, I don't know how it happens, but like February, March time, I always get this urge to split things up and say, no, I've got to have my planner there, and I've got to have my journal over here, and my sketchbook needs to be separate. And I think it's to do with going out and about and being more on the go, because I didn't need to do that this year because obviously we weren't on the go. So I actually kept things all together. But as always in September, I suddenly get this urge to, kind of the urge to purge, I guess, just simplify, get back to basics, kind of like new school year, new start. So I just started a new book. I haven't finished the one I was using before. It's only a Moleskine bullet journal. I can go back to it any time. I don't not go back to a journal. I date everything anyway. So, hey Ash, I'm not worried about, oh, but I'm only halfway through that book. I'll just go back and fill it up another time when I want to use that book. It'll be fine. But I just desperately needed to try something different because I've been using this book. I'm going to be using something similar in this size for my Edgar Allan Poe stuff because I've been really enjoying working this size with this kind of stuff. This is the kind of thing we're going to be doing in the Edgar Allan Poe class for Halloween Chronicles. So if you want to go sign up, there's a link down below. You can, well, there's the link, RhomanysRealm.org.uk. But there's also, if you look in the description, there's a discount code as well. So you can sign up for the class, you can get 10% off at the moment. Oh, thank you, Ashley. That's a coffee. Nice. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff we're going to be doing, and it's going to be quite a lot of work. Well, I say quite a lot of work. It's more kind of inspiration. I want it to be very quick and dirty and, you know, using your sketchbook as opposed to doing a beautifully appointed illustrated piece. I want to do something fun and fast, and, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just brainstorm those ideas, because I think a lot of people struggle with that. And they kind of get stuck in that knot of, oh, but I want my sketchbook to look pretty. And I want it to help people to understand that all these pretty sketchbooks you see start off with scribbles. I mean, there are some that are purely wall-to-wall beautiful paintings or beautiful sketches or whatever, but the vast majority of really nice sketchbooks that you look at and go, wow, that's awesome, you'll get one finished illustration for like 12 pages of doodles and scribbles and notes and all sorts of stuff. And I want to encourage that more. I want to encourage that looseness and that sense of let's just pick up a pen and do something, as opposed to let's draw or let's illustrate, you know, taking the hard work out of it. Because I do this kind of stuff, and I did these. Apart from the black ink work, I did go back in with my fibre tip. Where's it gone? Pentel brush pen. I don't know where it is. There it is. I went in with this because this was all drawn in ballpoint pen, but my ballpoint pen was running out, so it was not very dark, and I wanted to add some emphasis. So these bits that are much, much darker, I went in with this afterwards. But the rest of it was all done in about maybe 2.5 hours while I was sitting waiting for my MOT to be finished on my car. And are these amazing? No. Are they interesting? Yes. Were they fun? Absolutely. 2.5 hours to bang out a couple of this kind of stuff. And then with the idea that maybe we could pick one of these and go back and rework it and do it properly and turn it into something, but primarily using your sketchbook for brainstorming and throwing ideas in and all that kind of stuff, because I think that's really important skill to have. And a lot of people never develop that skill because they see these beautiful sketchbooks and they think, oh, my sketchbook needs to be beautiful, and they forget that the people who are showing their sketchbooks have got 50 other sketchbooks behind them that are just scribbles, and it's only practice and experience of using a sketchbook that's brought them to this point. So yeah, that's what we're working on. The descriptions of the class I've gone through before, but very quickly we're going to be doing it's a full month course through October. We're going to be doing it's called Inspiration because it's based on Edgar Allan Poe and his work. The first week is portraits, looking at the author himself, his work, his life, his very mysterious death, drawing these kind of things. I thought we could create a family tree sort of stuff, that kind of thing. The second week is going to be poetry. We're going to be doing The Raven, Annabel Lee and Alone, which are 3 of his most famous works, and just listening to those and taking inspiration from them, whether it's written or artwork or sketches or doodles or whatever it is you want to do, doesn't matter. Then in week 3 we've got a choice of stories, so you can do the Telltale Heart or The Fall of the House of Usher, bearing in mind obviously that the short stories are a lot longer than the poems, duh. So if you can manage 2 and you want to do 2, that's great, that's fine, but if you can only find time to do 1, then just concentrate on 1 and do the other one later. The class is going into self-study once it's finished live, so you can carry on working on the class as long as you like, and you don't have to be in the live portion of the class if you don't want to. Especially at the moment, a lot of people are teachers or they're homeschooling or whatever. You've got the whole settling kids in, and then in October you've got half term and all that kind of stuff. So don't feel that you have to be on top of everything. You know, if you want to start the class in October with the rest of us and finish it around about Christmas, that's totally fine. Don't feel like you have to finish it in 4 weeks or anything like that. So yeah, Telltale Heart, Fall of the House of Usher, all of those I will be providing audio files for, because I love reading audiobooks. It's fun and interesting. And then on week 4 we're going to be looking at police procedurals, because he started the true crime genre, or the true crime fiction genre at least. He wrote the first, or at least the first published and successful short story that we know of, based on a true crime using a fictional detective. So that's going to be really good fun. There won't be any audio files for that because there's a podcast that's covered it all. So I won't be covering it because it's just too much work to do that as well. I will concentrate on putting quality into the first 3. But I will do a kind of talk through of, you know, how true crime fiction developed and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, what do you need to do the course? A sketchbook and a pen. Literally, that's all you need. You can use anything you want. You can grab anything you want. You can work in any way you want. But all you really need is a sketchbook and a pen. I will probably be using a sketchbook this size and a ballpoint pen, and probably one of my brush pens for filling in larger work, because obviously, you know, this never gets dark enough for me. I always like the extra contrast, so I do like to go in. We might play with dip pens and stuff like that if you really want to, but all you really need is a ballpoint pen and a sketchbook, and off you go. Or whatever pen you like to draw with. You can use a fountain pen or something. I've got a Lamy here that I like to use. Last week, guys, I spent... Hi, Pearl. I spent ages... Thank you, Tracy. I spent ages trying to work out why my Lamy wouldn't work. Lamy fountain pen. It's filled with the... I use the sketch ink because it's waterproof. It's by Rower and Klinger. They're a German company. It's a lot less harsh on your pens than the platinum carbon ink. I do like the platinum carbon ink. I also like the Documentus ink. The Documentus ink is hard to get here, and it's expensive. This stuff is like £10 a bottle and it lasts for absolutely ages, and it is true waterproof. It works with Copics and everything. Waterproof, alcohol proof, absolutely everything. And I just fill my fountain pens up with that. It's basically all I use except for my Crimson Diamine. But I spent ages trying to get my pen to work. Not once did anybody say, has it got ink in it? Not once. Not one person said, has it got ink? And did I think of putting ink in it? No, not until I thought, maybe I should take it apart and clean the nib. Oh, but if I do that, I'll have to take all the ink out of the cartridge. And then when I went like this, I realised that all the black I could see here was actually this bit, and all of this was empty. I was like, maybe if I put ink in it, it'll work. I'm such a knob sometimes, honestly. You thought ink was implied? Oh, come on, it's me. This is the kind of stuff we're going to be doing. I'm going to teach you how to do this kind of stuff because I love doing caricatures. I'm heavily influenced by artists like Ronald Searle and Ralph Steadman and Gustave Doré, and more modern artists, people like Andrea Joseph and Chris Mould. Oh, Chris Mould is just, he's a god of illustration as far as I'm concerned. He's fabulous. And we draw very similar things because we're the same age and we come from the same place and we're influenced by the same things. We're both goths, you know, and we're both into the piratey gothic steampunk type stuff. So I'm really heavily influenced by his work, and I want to teach you guys how to do this without having to feel like, oh, but I don't know how to do that. It's not about knowing how to do it. It's about just being able to say, okay, let's try and see what happens. And also a lot of writing, because illustration is very much to do with putting words and writing together. Because I guess if you ask the difference between an artist and an illustrator, artists do tell stories with their paintings. But it's less wordy. It's the image that tells the story. Whereas illustration, by the very fact that it is illustration, it goes with words. It's there to enhance the words and make the words more readily understandable rather than an either or. You know, you don't get a painting with a big essay written on the back about what it's about and who's in it and what's happening. But an illustration is literally that. It's an essay about what's happening and who's in it, and then you get a picture that goes with it that illustrates the point the author is making. So it's very much going to be about storytelling and, yeah, digging into whatever you feel like doing. It's going to be fun. So if you want to sign up, all the details are down below. RhomanysRealm.org.uk. Doors open 25th of September. The actual class runs 1st of October to the 31st of October. And obviously 31st of October, it's a Saturday, so we're going to have a Halloween party. Oh, a Halloween potty. Will it be a Halloween potty? Should we have a Halloween potty? We can all dress up like people from Halloween, from Edgar Allan Poe. I'm gonna get a beak and go as a raven. Grrr, grrr. Anyway, so with that in mind, and being out of practice, I'm doing a lot of, you know, sketching while I watch stuff again, as I always do. I've always got to have a pen in my hand, no matter what I'm doing. So last night I watched You've Got Mail. You love a good poetry, yeah. This, obviously I did the bouquets of freshly sharpened pencils. I was literally just doing this as things caught my eye, when I looked up, I'd see something on screen and think, oh, I'll draw that. You know, there's Brinkley. I love this quote. When you read a book as a child, it becomes part of your identity. Friendly daisies. Daisies are the friendliest flower, aren't they? So, and she got a cold, so this is the box of tissues and a butterfly with a hat on, because she saw a butterfly on the subway that got off at Bloomingdale's and went to buy a hat. A pack of books. Read it, I know you'll love it. One of her favourite sayings. The Rooftop Killer, because he stood her up, didn't he? Yeah. Just doodling while I'm doing stuff. And this is the kind of thing I want to encourage people to do more of. Rather than, right, time to sit down with my important pen and my important journal and write about my journaling, you know. Sometimes you take it all too seriously, and sometimes it's good to just chill and just learn to be a little looser and a little more, you know. I could have written about how I sat curled up on the sofa with the dogs watching You've Got Mail, but instead I drew it. Why not? Now you're thinking of switching back to a notebook instead of your ring system. That's why I always have several things on the go, because I can just switch in and out. I can get two days into this and decide, oh, I'm bored, I'm going back to this one, you know. There's no reason why, or why not. Anyway, today, the one thing I do love this book. The one thing I don't like about it is the cover. I love this. The foil work is awesome. And I love the colouring. It's navy blue with red, which is really unusual. It's usually black. However, this paper, this cover is like it's like that black cloth canvas type stuff. So it doesn't feel of anything in particular. It just feels like a regular sketchbook. This feels like mulberry paper. And every time I touch it, I can't stand it. It's really doing my head in. So I decided to cover it. And I was going to do various different things. I was going to, you know, I talked about maybe doing it for the Edgar Allan Poe, actually filming it for the Poe thing. And then I thought, well, I could do that with my sketchbook that I'm going to use for Poe. So maybe do a design on the front, because I thought, you know, maybe we can make it part of the class that we design our portrait and then we draw Poe on the front of our book. You know, why not? So that's, I've put that on hold, but this still needs covering, so oh, I hate touching it. And then I remembered I had some of this left. I was like now I could sew a loose cover, so that the next time I have one of these sketchbooks, I can just take the cover off and slip it onto the sketchbook and blah, we're done. But honestly, I can't be bothered. That's time for that. So instead, I'm just gonna stick it on properly, like you normally do, and be done with it. I don't think I need to reinvent the wheel. What I do want to do is add an elastic. And I found some elastic, guys. I had to pop down the shop earlier to get some bread, and it's one of these corner shops that has a little corner where they sell everything in like the back corner, where you can buy a pack of drawing pins or a box of sewing needles or an eraser or a pack of paper clips or whatever, and they had black elastic, so I picked some up. Because this flat elastic is much better than what I have. I actually have the rolled elastic, but by the time you put the rolled elastic in there, it's too thick. It bumps up the back of your page. Whereas this stuff will sit flat. That will be extremely cool. So, let's do this thing, shall we? Everything will be matching, I know. I love this black and white stripe. I've actually, I've got it saved in my eBay basket because I want to get some more. because I just love it so much. I use it for everything. And this is all that's left. This is it. This is all that's left. So what I'm thinking I'll do, let me see, which side is longer? Have I got enough? That's not quite wide enough, so I'll have to take it from the bottom. If I take it from this bottom corner here, I should be able to. I don't need to wrap it around the back because I think I'll do something different with that. If I butt it up to that seam there, obviously it'll have to be straight, and I put it about there, like that, I can get two pieces here that will fit around the book and stick nicely, and then I can do something else on the back. I've got some bits of like leather and stuff. I thought maybe I could put a strip of leather along the back, but I think to use that I would have to take off the spine. I'm not sure I want to do that. But you know, there's always duct tape, okay? There's always duct tape. So, I'm going to cut it a bit longer than I think I need it. I've still got some left. Oh, this is the roll of fabric that keeps on giving, I'm telling you. Okay, so simple. What we're going to do, actually I might flatten that out a bit, because it's canvas, it does flatten quite well, so it'll just, you can pretty much just pull it back into shape. Yeah, the red will look good with it, yeah. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, I think that'll look all right, actually. So let's do it this way. I'm going to put one on here. Let's fold it so the strange bit is at the back. So this is going to be the bit that shows least. So let's put it that way around. So I'm literally going to just floof everywhere. So much better touching canvas though than touching that weird stuff. So I don't want this to get caught in the gully. See here, there's a gully. I don't want it to get caught in that. So I'm going to line it up with the edge here. And I think just to tack it in place. Actually, let's clean that edge up. That's not very straight, is it? Not that it matters, it's going to get covered up anyway. Okay, there you go. Just to get it stuck in place, I'm going to use some double-sided tape. Now that won't be enough to hold it on, certainly not on the outside, but it'll position it. Because I don't want to put wet glue on this, because it will seep through the fabric, and then it makes the fabric hard, and it acts weird. So it's going to be better to just put bits everywhere. Some double-sided tape. Hey, Katie. I'm going to put it near to the edge. I don't want it to tear the paper. You see, this is mulberry paper. It's going to be there's a good chance when I take the sticky off that the glue will try to lift up as well, so it may not even work. But I only want it to tack it in place, so hopefully it'll be all right. Make sure it's at least good and stuck. Ooh. Just to choke on air, that would be great, wouldn't it? So who else gets the September rush of, ooh, New Year? Yeah, it always does feel like a new year for me. I'm going to have to use a knife to peel this up because it's not peeling properly. Where is my... There's my knife. As suspected, when I try and peel the corner up, it's trying to lift the glue off the book as well. So I'm just got to do this fiddly bit where you have to separate the backing. See, it's trying to lift it all up. Doesn't help that I can't see. I'm getting new glasses. I finally booked an appointment to go and get some glasses because I can't see what I'm doing anymore. Ashley, you get the new September thing. Well, you're still a student, so I've gone back to being a student anyway, so that doesn't really surprise me. Oh, this is fiddly. Let me have a pair of tweezers here somewhere. There we go. Hi, baby. Oh, what is wrong with Miss Maddie? What's the matter? Heyo, do you need a belly rub? Belly rubs for Miss Maddie. It's an emergency. Oh my goodness. It's an emergency. Belly rubs from Miss Maddie. Quick. She hasn't had one in at least 25 minutes. Oh no. You alright, babe? Hi. You got a skank eye again. Ew. You don't feel new anything right now because you're too stressed. I would imagine anybody who's got 2 kids doing homeschooling at the moment would be stressed. I think all our kids are going back to school next week, which is a bit weird. I don't know. I don't want to get political, but I don't understand why there's such a big hoo-ha here about kids need to go back to school. They've missed so much education. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They didn't actually miss a lot of education because most of them were online. Most of the schools just went online. It's okay. Just attend from home. I don't understand why that's not more of a thing. Rather than let's get all the kids back in school physically. Must attend school. Oh my goodness. You know, it's almost like they haven't heard of the internet. Almost all schools have a home learning platform. So why are they not utilising them? It doesn't really make sense to me. Anyway, you're starting online today. Poor Maddie having to go 25 minutes between belly rubs. I know, it's just not fair, is it? See, this is peeling up already because paper is not ideal for sticking anything to. But it's literally just to position it so I can anchor it inside. So I'm not too worried. I just want to get it... trying to eye it up so there's a so that this bit is right, and then I should be able to smooth that bit down, and then this, what's left, should be approximately equidistant. Oh, look at that, that's cool. She did it, oh my goodness me. Okay, I need to trim this down, this is too big on this end. So we're looking at, I think basically the end of that. Yeah, I'm going to cut it there, I think, along that line there, because it's a bit too wide. It just works better if the seam allowance is roughly even. It doesn't really matter how big it is, as long as it's roughly even, it will sit better. So I'm going to cut across the corners. I'm not going to cut these corners because they're going to go up into the book anyway. And all we've got to do now is stick it down. We just got to stick it down. That is not stuck all the way down. I can lift that up and tuck the material underneath. Yes, this is going to be a raw edge. Do I care about that? Nah, not really. So I'm going to prop this up so that this is straight. Oh, that's not wide enough. I'll have to put that on there and hope it stays a bit. There we go. I just want it a little bit flatter so I'm not working on an angle. So I'm just going to double-sided tape it again because, you know, why reinvent the wheel? And this side is actually sticking to proper paper. So I'm going to carefully lay it along the edge. You know, it's not really designed for fabric or anything, but it'll work. And then I'm going to lay it along this edge of the sketchbook. Like that. Give it a scrimble. Dry glue always works best if you can get all the air bubbles out. I mean, obviously this is going to have air underneath, so over time it will come off, but that's why you put 2 strips. This one. Try and keep the tension even as I wrap it over. And then this one can peel off. Hopefully the sticky will stay on the fabric. I might have to do the old stick it and tweeze it trick again. Oh, I can't wait to get new glasses so I can actually see what I'm doing. This is just very, very slightly out of focus. Not enough to make it impossible, but just enough to make it annoyingly tricky. There we go. So yeah, 2 weeks I've got my appointment, but I'm not going to buy, I don't think I'm going to buy glasses from them. I think I'm going to buy glasses from online, but then that means I've got to send off for them. It's going to take a week to 10 days to get them and all that kind of stuff. So, But hey, I've managed for like 7 years with these. So, okay, that should work. That should be fine. Now let's see where this is going to overlap. It should fit just nicely there. So let's pop a little bit under here. The raw edge fraying as it looks as it's used will be cool. Well, it would be, except it's probably not going to fray that much because it's sheared. Sheared. Yeah, that's the word, sheared. Come on, up you come. There we go. Ooh. Bit of something sticky on there. Get that off there. There we go. I don't normally have to do this. I can usually do it with my nails, but I cut my nails off. So they're all smooth at the moment. Because I filed them and everything. Okay, so now I'm just going to do the same with this side. And all the way around. It really is that simple. Whoops. So if you've got a sketchbook that you don't like the cover of, or you just feel like having a different cover, because, you know, sometimes, I know the big thing is to have leather covers and stuff like that, but some people don't buy leather, some people don't want to have new notebook covers hanging around all over the place. Some people like to have a change, and some people just are on a budget and can't afford to buy a new notebook cover every time. So I think it's nice to be able to have a tutorial on how to do this, because it seems simple until you start doing it, and then you're like, well, how do I get that to fit there, and why doesn't this fit on here, and now what do I do, and how do I put an elastic on there? You know, I've done this many times in many different ways, so you get to benefit from my experience without having to have all the cock-ups that I've had along the way. Oh. Come on, lift up. I can't see what I'm doing. I can't see. I can't see, Miss Maddie. She does not care. If it does not involve belly rubs, she is not interested. Okay, and then to reinforce this corner, I'm just going to pop a bit along there as well. So that those bits sit nice and flush with each other. A lot of these DIY type things, they're really not as daunting as they sound. They're only daunting if you haven't done them before, but you've got to start somewhere. Maybe start with an old notebook and a scrap of fabric that you don't care about, you know, and go from there. Okay. Now that was perhaps silly, because I think I need to fold this edge in first. Oh, okay. Well. At least this edge is fairly easy to do. It's not as tricky as the top edge, or the side edge, because it's only got one corner. Just make sure that you don't put your sticky all the way up into this corner. You don't need it to be all the way up into this seam because the fabric doesn't go all the way up into the seam. You'll end up with a bit there that you'll end up MacGyvering with washi tape. Hi, Pelican. They miss the social interaction of being at school. I would not have missed any social interaction about being at school. Hashtag introvert. I was built for the online world. Come on. Oh, can't do it that way. Okay, I'm just going to put my... If you're not entirely sure what you're doing, do one side like I did the first one. Do the internal strip and then do the external strip. But I'm used to doing this, so I'm not really bothered. There we go. Now I can stick this corner down and layer that up. Of course, this is all well and good for the front, but you know, in a minute we're going to do the back. The back's going to be a little trickier because we're going to add elastic and stuff. We've got a bookmark to work around and things. Well, I can take the bookmark off. I put the bookmark on. I'm working the wrong way round. I need my left hand. There we go. There. Didn't take that sticky off yet. Oh, let's put a bit on this corner first before we forget. One cover done. And that's the front. Now for the back. That's where it gets tricky. Okay. This is quite well stuck. I don't think I want to take it off. So what I'm going to attempt to do is buttonhole it. this could go horribly right or horribly, horribly wrong. I guess we're going to find out. So I'm going to do the same basic thing on this side. Again, I'm going to put that bent bit near the bottom where it won't show as much. Straighten up this side. Actually, I've got to cut stuff off anyway, so let's do this side to there, because this side's already straight. Because I've got too much on this end, I'm going to have to cut it off anyway. So, same basic principle initially. Oh God, lots of writing. You have a lot of projects going on. Yeah, lots of projects and 10-minute spurts. It must be like having toddlers again. You're destroying a plastic binder so you can reuse it for your ring system. Cool. You wouldn't, but your kids are the opposite of you. Yeah. It absolutely wouldn't bother me at all. I was lucky when I was a kid. My best friend actually didn't go to the same school as me anyway, and she only lived 2 doors down, so it's a shame to cover this up, but I got to get rid of this. I don't like this mulberry paper, it's nasty. So I'm just going to do this exactly the same initially. Whoops. But I've got to account for that loop. Obviously, I could put the loop separate afterwards, but I've already stuck the loop on, and I don't really want to take it off because it's stuck quite well. Stuck surprisingly well, actually, given that it was just a cheap pack that I bought off Amazon that was, I think, yeah, 15 for $3.99, and all different colours. So that's pretty cool. So now I'm able to just chuck one in every sketchbook without MacGyvering it so that I can take it out and put it in the next one. Although it's still a little bit wasteful, but what else is people being inspired by lately? Come on, guys. It's September. It's a full moon in Pisces. You should be brimming with ideas and... I know I am. Sending your kids back to school is more for your sanity. Yeah. This is why I don't have kids. It's hard enough to work when you've got 2 dogs. Honestly. What time are we on? 4:05. I did say at the beginning of the stream, in case you weren't here, I have to go to an appointment, which means I have to leave the house at 5. So I've set the alarm for 4:45 so that I don't overrun. I don't normally cut streams short, but you know, I've got an appointment. I can't do anything about it. But at least with an alarm, I can just sit back and not worry about the time. Just wait for the alarm to go off. We worked through the whole way through the homeschooling, and homeschooling was stressful. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not surprised. I hope there's a few teachers end up getting pay rises out of this, because I think there's a lot of parents have suddenly realised that actually teachers do a lot of work. Having kids all day is not a walk in the park. Especially when they're supposed to be learning and they intensely don't want to. Well, I got to admit, that was never a problem I had. I used to spend my lunch break in the library. Okay, let's line this up. You don't want to stretch it, I just want to make sure it lies flat. If you stretch it, it'll start to distort, especially corner ways. You don't want it to do that, because then it'll pull the corner of your book. Okie dokie, there we go. Want it about, yeah, about just after that bit again. Now I've got two things to account for. I've got to put elastic on, and I've got to account for this. So the corners I can do the same thing with as before. Oof, that's not straight at all. Let's just... I don't care about it being straight, but you know. There's not quite straight, and there's straight as a donkey's hind leg, and that was venturing into donkey territory. Nobody's inspired by anything. Come on, guys, what's inspiring you? What are you looking forward to? I'm going to do this one last, because that will fold over the edges. So this end, let me think about the elastic. How am I going to put the elastic on? I think actually the easiest way to do the elastic is going to be to stick it here. Would it be better to have it... Oh, I could just stitch it to the material. That would work. Okay. That's going to be the easiest way to do it. Then it won't create any bulk. Let's stick this side down. So this side's going to be the same. All over again. Bit of that. Bit of that. You're all very quiet today. What am I inspired by at the moment? I'm inspired by getting back to watching TV stuff. I'm inspired by my classes coming up. The Poe class especially is really, I'm just having a whale of a time with that. I can't wait. I'm feeling inspired by the whole, you know, just grab a pen and do something attitude, which generally is what I do round about September. It just becomes grab a pen and just do something. But okay, this side. What's going to be the easiest way to do this? I think. Okay, I'm going to fold it over here, and I can feel like when you bend that over, can you see there's a gully there? So what I'm going to do is use my knife to cut the fabric where that gully is. I've got to be careful not to go into the elastic. And I've got to make sure I do it wide enough that the elastic will be able to come through. So you can do that using a light source. So it's got to come, I can see it's coming in line with this black. So now I know where I need to cut it. I can just do it this way, which is a lot easier. Yes, I'm being very careful with my fingers, don't worry. Okay, now, of course, if we start getting all gung-ho with that, that's going to stick, isn't it? That's going to come unglued and unfrayed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off the little bits. You can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm basically just taking off a few frayed edges. It's too close to show you, and I can't even see. You're inspired by the colours of fall and the fall elements in Animal Crossing. Yes, all the mushroom stuff comes out soon, doesn't it? I've been looking forward to that, I have to say. Definitely. Okay. I think to stop this fraying too much, I'm going to run a bead of glue along it. That will... I'm going to use the old... Yeah, Mara, we haven't seen you for a while. Where have you been? Hast thou been hiding? I'm just running. I've essentially created a buttonhole, and I'm just running a bead of glue along both sides of it to try and stop the fabric fraying. It's not going to be perfect, but we're rogue-ivering here. Ooh, speaking of rogue-ivering, I've got a fun project coming up that I will be doing on YouTube. I don't know if I'll be doing it live, but it will be a YouTube one. If you know of James Gurney, then you'll know that he has a... There you go, I just popped that through the hole. I'm going to glue that down around there, like that. I think that'll work, because I can turn that inside out. Hopefully that'll work. If it doesn't, we'll repair it, right? Yeah, James Gurney had made a wooden pallet that he puts on his tripod, so that he can paint when he's outdoors, and he just clamps his book to the pallet, and the pallet is stuck onto the quick release plate on the tripod, so all he's got to do is clip it on and he's done. And I've been wanting that for a while, but I was going to try and make one. I was going to go and get some MDF or some plyboard or something and try and make one, but me and Power Tools, I don't think so. And I could go to B&Q and get it cut to size and all that, but they charge a fortune. So I thought I would look around and see what else I could find. And I found a kind of a, I guess it's a carry case kind of thing. It's a wooden carry case that I think I can rogue-iver into a pallet, because I have all the bits and pieces that I need. All I need is a drill and a screwdriver and I'm good. So I think I can do it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be certainly going to be interesting. And I guess we'll see what happens. I'm going to run a bead of glue along there as well, actually, and see if hopefully that'll hold. So yeah, I'm going to call it my Roe-Gurney project, because I'm going to be rogue-ivering the gurney palette. So technically it's Roe-Gurneying, not just rogue-ivering. Hey Pam! So that should be fun. Oh! Pallets! Pallets, easels, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Guys! I have to say a huge thank you to any of you who have used, I don't publicise it very often, but down in my link in the description box, I'm a Jackson's Art affiliate, and you can get 10% off your first order if you use my link. And I get a bit of a kickback from that. It doesn't cost you anything. In fact, you get a 10% discount, which is usually equivalent to postage, free postage. But I haven't logged into my account in about 18 months. I had to buy another of these sketchbooks, as it happens. And a lot of places had the landscape one, but nobody had the portrait one. So I went to Google, and Google said, oh, Jackson Art has got some in stock. So yay, verily, off I went to Jackson Art and shoved one in my cart and went to pay for it. And it came up with those lovely words. Would you like to use your bonus points to take 27 pence off this item? I was like, nah, I'll save my points for when I actually need them. Next screen. Would you like to use your affiliate payments? Because you don't actually get paid. They don't send you money. You just get store credit. And this is 18 months worth of store credit. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't mind saving a fiver. That'd be cool. Because honestly, I very rarely get anything. I get, I think I had a Amazon payment of something about 8 months ago. So I'll probably get one some point within the year. But not right now. Certainly haven't had one. So I was expecting like a fiver. Guys, there's over 200 quid in there. And it's from you. Well, it's from them, but it's from you. It's from you using my link. You using my affiliate link. Means that they give me a bit of money because I referred you to them and you used my link and saved some money, and yay, everybody wins. Right? They get a new customer. You get 10% off. I get a kickback. That's a good deal as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, over 200 quid in that account. So, rather than getting all gung-ho and going, yay, spending spree, because I'm not really like that. I'm not that kind of artist. I treat myself occasionally, but usually they're things that I've wanted for a while. Like I bought some Copics because I desperately wanted some, and I've been wanting some for a while. So I went to my patrons and I said, okay, what shall I spend this money on? Tell me what you think. Because you guys and you all there, thank you very much, who have used the link, are the people who have essentially given me this money, or meant that I could have this money to spend. what should I spend it on? So a few different suggestions, and finally we came up with the idea of everyone, like several people said, dude, you've been wanting a new artist's easel for forever because yours keeps collapsing. You know, my big easel. It just falls over. It's one of those Z-shaped ones that's just like that, and it's held together with a couple of butterfly clips. And it basically over about an hour, it gradually collapses to the floor. So it's not really much use other than standing against the wall and looking pretty. It's not really any use for actually working on. So I picked up an artist's easel, but it's an artist's easel with a difference. And I plan to do an unboxing, so I will actually show you what I got and how it works. So I don't want to spoil the surprise. My patrons already know, because I was literally showing them what I was going to get and, you know, the different options that there were. But yeah, this easel is incredibly cool. I think it will be very, very good for me to work on. I also went in my wish list, because I have a wish list on Jackson's Art that's non-priority items, you know, things I would like, but I don't really have a desperate need for right at this moment. So, you know, there was like one of the Handmuller sketchbooks was in there, because I really wanted to try one of those. Everybody raves about the paper, but they're really expensive everywhere else. Jackson's had a sale on them, so I thought, oh, I'll pick one of those up while I'm in here, because that's a discount as well. That's cool. I picked up some more water-soluble oils, because I've got a few colours that I don't have, like neutral browns and Payne's grey, and I needed a big tube of white, because I've only got the titanium white. I need a mixing white. I had a few colours. I had a few in my wish list already that I decided I knew I needed. But I hadn't prioritised them. And a couple of other bits and pieces, you know, just odd things that I've been meaning to try out to review, but they're not priority items. So I figured, since the money came technically from you guys, I should spend it on stuff that I can show you guys and review items and things like that. So yeah, you'll get a review on the easel and the Handmuller sketchbook. I'll let you know what I think of that, because you know me, I'm a bit picky about sketchbooks. For someone who draws with a ballpoint pen, I'm incredibly picky and snobby about my paper. Especially watercolour paper, because that's a watercolour notebook. It's similar to the you know, the Moleskine watercolour book. It's similar to that. I can put up with a lot of things, but shoddy paper is not one of them. Life's too short for shoddy paper. And of course I do some more. I really want to get to some more oil painting, but that hasn't been possible while my easel was broken. So now I get a new easel. Be able to get back on Twitch and do some more oil painting. Be awesome. So that'll be happening through the winter. Yeah, be fun. So thank you guys. Thank you. 10 times thank you. Because that's, like I say, that's all down to you using my affiliate link to get a discount, which is down in the description. Bottom of the description bar, you'll find my Jackson's Art discount link. Oops. Yeah. Oh, everything was going so well. And then that. Nope, I'm going to have to do that again. It's all scrunched up, and that'll annoy me because it's... I'm excited to get back to oil painting, I have to say. because I can paint big with oils. And at the moment I'm leaping between working on illustration, very, very small, and painting big. So, but yeah, I'm really excited to get back to oil painting again. I've been watching Bailey J's vlogs and she's all about the oil painting at the moment. I'm like, I want to do that. But of course, in order to oil paint, you have to have an easel because you have to have somewhere to put your work to let it dry. So you started doing ink drawings in your old 1989 sketchbook that you're trying to finish up, and you're using Bic pens. Woohoo! I should be a Bic affiliate, I tell you. They have this thing where, I don't know if they have it where you are, but they sell bumper packs in shops, and it has this thing on the front that they've been running since the 80s, you know, use up all your pens and get £10 back. They must owe me a fortune by now. I can never be bothered to send them back though, and I always lose the packet. It's too much effort. I wonder how many people have ever actually claimed that. Can you hear the rain? It's so heavy. It's rainy and cold and grey and miserable. I love it. I prefer when it's like this. I think because I don't hear my mum in my head going, "It's a lovely day, why aren't you outside?" Because it's a lovely day. Outside, two things. Ooh, the weather. Ooh, the people. Okay, so, I mean, it's not the prettiest in the world, but it seems to be working. That seems to work. I can always put something across this. But it's all folded down neatly. This needs to dry. But it doesn't look horrendous. I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, it feels so much better. Trim these edges off. What I'll do later, overnight, I'll just pop a bit of glue on these edges because they'll fray otherwise. So I'll just snip them off for now. And then tonight, before I go to bed, I'll just pop a bit of glue on each corner. And then by the morning it'll be dry. Which will do nicely. Might actually run some all down there actually, just to make sure that that doesn't fray. Cool. So that's solved that problem. Actually, I'm not too worried about this bit now. I can't really feel that bit because it's flat and it's glued flat. It's not as hairy as the front cover was. So am I going to leave it like that, or should I put a... I feel like I should put a bit of something on it just to cover it. So if I take this off, in theory I could take this back piece off. As long as I replace the spine with something else, because this spine is loose. It's an open spine, so you know, it's not attached to the actual book block. So I could take that bit off and put a bit of leather around there instead, which would be quite nice. Let's see. Oh, that's almost exactly the right height as well. Look at that. Oh, what do we think? of looked like that. Let's use the edge. If it looked kind of like that, I could even put holes through with my big hole awl and do some stitching just to hold this. I kind of like that actually. 15 minutes to my alarm. Thank you, Mika. That could work. Is there a bit that's long enough for me to cut that would fit the height of the book? I bet all of these are too short. Ooh. That bit is pretty much perfect. Well, it's a bit too high, but that would work. Okay. Let's do it. Okay, let's see, shall we? It would fit sort of there-ish. Could do some fancy stitching across here. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Would that make it hard to open the book? I think it would. Let's see. I'd only be able to attach it on the front and back. So let me grab some clippy clips. Okay, I'll hold that in place at the back and then, oh, it's going to make a bump. The leather is a bit too thick, maybe. I need another, need more clips, need more clips, more clips, more clips. Hello. I always have millions of them. Where are they all? I buy packs of like 50 of them. Where do they all go? I should have at least a couple of little black ones hanging around the desk. But no. Ah, there's one. There should be some more of these. Maybe one will be enough. So if I put that one on there. Does it stop the book sitting flat? No, it just kind of makes it squishy in the middle. Is that going to bother me? I don't think it is. But it is too bulky, so yeah, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Why not? If you're going to Rogiver, do it properly, right? Well, I guess I could use... I could just use a piece of gaffer tape, which would do the same job, wouldn't it? Technically. I don't have my gaffer tapes over here, but like thick tape like this, but the proper... I've got some black and white Got some of this, which is like canvasy feeling. That'd be kind of cool with the stripes, actually. Alternatively, I could simply use a bit more fabric, couldn't I? What if we did it that way? That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? I can still stitch it. Oh, I like that. Is that bit long enough? Not quite. This could work. I think I like the graphic on graphic, honestly. So we need at least that much, but I only need one thickness. Don't need. Let's cut it longer than we think we need, in case. Actually, let's just chop this bit off here. That makes way more sense. There we go. So if I employ the same basic tactics to just stick it on all round, which edge is straight? This edge is straight. Could do it like so it folds in there. I like that. I really like that. Okay, so that's going to be... Let's do it. Let's just do it. Now I want to get quite a good bond along here, so I'm going to put a few strips. I probably will go back and sew it, and that is as simple as just putting some holes through with my awl. And then just sewing through with a bit of whatever, waxed cord or something like that. What I want to do is make sure I don't cause extra bulk. I think that's why this will work better than the leather, actually. The leather's nice, and I wouldn't mind using the leather, but I would have to take the back of the book off. And because I haven't used this book before, this is a new type of sketchbook for me. I've not used this style or this make. That's not true. I've got other books in this make that I'm using at the moment. But I don't know how well this spine is going to stand up to daily use. So I don't want to go taking it off and then find that the whole book falls apart. I would rather cover it and use the book, and then once I get to the end of the book, I'll know how the spine's going to hold up. You know, I mean, we all know that you can use a moleskin and fill it really chunky, and then when the spine starts splitting, you just take it off and replace it with gaffer tape, and boom, you've got a thicker book, you know. But would that work with this, or would the paper fall apart? I don't know. It all depends on how it's stitched, you see, so you have to be a bit careful. So which is that's the straight edge. So let's give ourselves about that much. Where's the edge of it? Let's try and put it roughly in the middle. Okay, now I don't want to put it into this gully because this gully needs to be loose, but I do want to give it enough space so it's got to kind of bend in around that gully. and then come up around here so that it's got enough give. Because if you just put it straight like that, it won't be able to bend into that gully. Does that make sense? I hope so. It's basic physics. So what's going to be the easiest way to do that? I think literally just doing what I was doing there is going to be the easiest way, actually. I'm just going to put some of this on the back. So I'm skipping the gully and putting this down the spine, which is the next anchor point. Take these off one at a time so we're not using too much sticky. My alarm's going to go off any minute, so I might just get to the end of this, or at least get halfway. The other half will be exactly the same, so. Come on. I do not have time for this. Stop messing. Liften. Liften Sie. There we go. Okay, so there's that one. I'm going to put my pencil into that so I can apply even pressure to push it down into that groove. And then I'm going to fold it across. Hey? Which means that is now loose. It's got a, see, it's got a loosey bit, loosey, because that bit needs to bend. So it's gonna do funny things when it opens, but over time I will push that into there and it will eventually crease so that it will, probably could have got away with sticking it into that groove actually, but never mind, it's not essential. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Where's my number? Why didn't it come up with snooze? Give me another 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I built in wrap-up time into my alarm, so it's okay. I have to be done and gone at 5, not at 1:45. But now is the time I need to think about wrapping up, which is what I'm trying to do now. Okay. So that's going to go up there. Comme ça. So that black bit there is where the sticky bit's going to go. And there. Now the bit wrapping it around the spine bit is a little tricky. I do not have time to show you that. But what I will do is when I come back and I finish this off, because I will finish this off tonight, I will record it and I'll put it up as an extra for you. Just to show you what I did. Okay, let's just do these one at a time, like I did last time. Let's make sure we get that into the groove. Get into the groove with my pencil to create the slack. See, now we've got slack here. So when we open it, it creates slack in the binding. And over time that will be, I mean, I could put an elastic band around that overnight and it will create a crease. Take the rest of these off. yeah, so I'll record finishing it off and I'll put it up as an extra little bit of just ordinary video. Again, just flattening it down, not getting it overly stretchy with it or anything like that. Okay, we've got 2.5 on this side. We've got 1, 2.5. So we need to chop it. Here. So, just so it's even. It doesn't have to be even, but I like to have even. It feels easier to do it if both sides are the same. I hope that makes sense. So basically the rest of it is just similar to what we did with the corners, like cutting it in and sticking it there and then pushing it up into the back of the binding and stuff like that, but it's a bit more fiddly than just what we did before. Possibly would have even been easier to just roll it down, to be honest, and have it rolled that way around the outside of the book. I might do that, and then I could stitch it into place here. Do you know what? I'm going to do that before it stops sticking properly. I'm going to do that now. Yeah, I could do that. I'll have to pull it off. The good thing about double-sided tape is it doesn't air dry. That would be a lot easier to do. So I'll run a piece of tape around here, fold this down to the right height and then put it up. So it will be a folded on the outside. So it's going to fold there. Like that. That'll be easier to do. And then if I have to stitch it in place, I can in just a top stitch. Make it look neater, be easier. Right, thanks for joining me, guys. I have to go. I've got to go. Okay, thanks for joining me. I don't need to record this now because it's I've done it. All I've got to do is the other side. Let me know if you cover your own books and what you do with them, how they look, and enjoy your fresh start for September. I know I'm going to. Link here for classes and stuff, or if you need any help whatsoever, give one of my mods a shout. They're in blue in the chat, and I will see you again very soon. Bye, guys.